Hello, I'm Derek Anderson with Coinclarity, here with your weekly crypto roundup. In this week's edition, we're going to talk about how the SEC's delay in making Bitcoin an ETF has brought down markets across the globe. We're going to look at how a single white hat hacker's decision could heal the rift between Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash communities. And we'll also take a look at the platform coin waves and how they're up against a bearish Bitcoin market. Those are our headlines. Let's get to them. First up in our headlines, the Bitcoin ETF decision delay brings panic to the markets. On the heels of the news that the SEC has decided to postpone its decision regarding approval for the most recent Bitcoin ETF, the price of Bitcoin made a dramatic slide into the gutter over the past week, losing almost $1,000 over the course of 24 hours. The SEC decision has officially been pushed back to September 30th to allow the Federal Oversight Committee time to digest the pros and cons of declaring Bitcoin to be a security. Per usual, Bitcoin's fall dragged the rest of the market with it, wiping out as much as $43 billion of total market capitalization across a 5-day period. Crypto investor fear has reared its ugly head, and it became apparent that 2018's bear market just ain't done yet. As of early Monday morning, Bitcoin was down about 7% for the first week of August, though still up 3.5% over the last 30 days. The SEC is becoming notorious among crypto investors who have been anxiously awaiting their stamp of approval for a Bitcoin ETF. Such an approval is predicted to be a catalyst for a tremendous rise in the price of Bitcoin, assuredly bringing many of the altcoins along for the ride. Not only would a Bitcoin ETF open up its ability to be traded by Wall Street and other small-time investors, it would also act as a stamp of approval by the US government, giving Bitcoin an air of legitimacy that many say it still sorely needs. Ironically, such a decision by the SEC would also take away some of Bitcoin's ability to truly operate free from government oversight, moving it away from Satoshi Nakamoto's original libertarian intent. For the time being, Bitcoin remains independent from government recognition as a security, with an SEC decision price bump out of the picture until at least late September. Next up in our headlines, we'll take a look at the markets, with most of our altcoins being down, but Bitcoin's market dominance being up. Among the top altcoins hurt most by last week's crypto bloodbath were Ripple, down 28%, EOS, down 26%, IOTA, down 39%, and NEO, down 30%. These four coins account for over $6 billion of the $43 billion lost during this last week's freefall. Out of a list of over 1,500 cryptocurrencies to suffer negative price movements, the total market capitalization value of all coins are now at a paltry $217 billion. A level not seen since November of last year, when Bitcoin started its massive climb upward to almost $20,000. Also interesting from a technical perspective is the fact that Bitcoin's percentage of dominance of the total coin market capitalization has now surpassed 50% for the first time since December, meaning that Bitcoin is once again worth more than all of the other cryptocurrencies combined. Besides being the first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is also known as the least risky of all coins. A decreasing Bitcoin dominance can be inferred to mean that crypto investor appetite for risk is increasing. Conversely, an increasing Bitcoin dominance, as has been the case for almost all of 2018, means that investor appetite for risk is decreasing. In addition, Bitcoin's recapture of the total market cap dominance also signifies that demand for altcoins and ICO-related products that were all the rage in 2017 has slowed down tremendously. Hundreds of new coins that sprang out of the woodwork in the last 2 years have come and gone. But Bitcoin has remained and even improved, thanks to adaptations like the implementation of SegWit and Lightning Network. Bitcoin has proven that it can self-evolve in order to meet scaling requirements for continued growth, finding ways to reduce transaction fees and increase transaction capacity, which lessens the value of the selling points of many of its competitors. Bitcoin forks like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, and Bitcoin Private, all developed under the premise of making improvements upon Bitcoin's designs, are finding themselves outmoded because of Bitcoin's evolutionary ability to incorporate the best features right back into itself. Next up in our headlines, A Bitcoin Core developer comes to the rescue of Bitcoin Cash. In a rare display of nonpartisanship, a Bitcoin developer who works for a digital currency initiative at the MIT Media Lab revealed himself as the party responsible for disclosing a potentially damaging bug in the code of Bitcoin Cash. Back in April, the Bitcoin Core client for Bitcoin Cash, otherwise known as Bitcoin ABC, though largely overlapping in code with Bitcoin Core, was found to have a dangerous vulnerability that could potentially be used to split the Bitcoin Cash network into two equally sized, non-compatible chains. It was immediately patched, and the bug was never exploited, thank goodness, but the developer chose to remain anonymous at the time, fearing that if the vulnerability was used, he would have been the one to blame, potentially causing the downfall of a multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency. The move has been hailed as largely altruistic, as developers of Bitcoin Cash have long been known to accuse developers of Bitcoin Core of working on an inferior product. The feud between the, quote, two Bitcoins took a turn for serious when a lawsuit was filed against Roger Ver, owner of the Bitcoin.com domain. In April 2018, the lawsuit alleges that Ver was using his influence to promote Bitcoin Cash by advertising it for sale as, quote, the real Bitcoin, manipulating visitors into thinking that they were buying Bitcoin, when in fact they're purchasing Bitcoin Cash. Ver, an extremely verbal critic of the original Bitcoin, or Core as it is called by Bitcoin Cash evangelists, since the Bitcoin Cash fork last year, is accused of going so far as to even redirect links to a Bitcoin block explorer to a Bitcoin Cash block explorer. Next up in our headlines, we have our coins bucking the trend. Let's take a look at coins that are doing remarkably well, even in the bloodbath of the market these days. Amidst a sea of red numbers, it is unsurprising that most coins did terrible last week compared to Bitcoin. However, there were a couple of winners that managed to rise above it all. Using our in-house developed proprietary measure known as the Goodness Index, the formula which you can see right up there, we managed to find one coin this week that has fared significantly well compared to the rest of the markets. As a quick reminder, the Goodness Index considers two main factors and compares them to Bitcoin: price and volume. Coins that are up against Bitcoin on heavy trading volume receive high Goodness Index scores. Coins that are down on heavy volume receive low scores. This week, the average score for the entire market was an abysmal negative 10.9 compared to last week's 1.81. That means that compared to Bitcoin, most coins did terribly. Something we were already aware of, but there is one clear-cut winner for this week, and that would be Waves. Waves on the market with a Goodness Index of 32.8, a multi-wallet coin platform that brings push-of-a-button ease of token creation. Waves has been around for a few years already and is something of a veteran among most other coins. With a built-in exchange, crypto-to-fiat gateway, and a pleasant, easy-to-use user interface, Waves makes cryptocurrency accessible for those with little to no technical knowledge. Tokens can be created on the platform for a very cheap fee. In addition to storing Waves, its wallet can be used to store Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Zcash, and a variety of other popular cryptocurrencies. It can even store fiat currencies, which can be used on the platform's decentralized exchange or withdrawn to participate in financial service providers. So what helps steer Waves up above the red, steering it into a 15% gain for the week? Well, for one, Waves is considered to be largely oversold, with a market cap of $212 million, but it is a fragment of its former self, valued at $1.6 billion in December of 2017. While 2018 has been a crushing year for most alts, it has been particularly crushing for Waves, and perhaps undeservingly so. Waves is a stable, decentralized platform that ties together a lot of the best elements of cryptocurrency, yet has been largely overlooked by investors in recent months. Definitely helping to attract attention to what might be a diamond in the rough type scenario. Waves CEO Sasha Ivanov was recently the subject of an interview with Forbes magazine, perhaps helping it spike while everything else has been going down. Murmurs of new developments in the works for the project have also been abound on the coins community, which has been in desperate need of a spark of hope for quite some time. While an interview with Forbes certainly helps, It will take a lot more for the coin to come anywhere close to its former glory. And that's it for our headlines. If you would like to see more about the stories that I'm not covering in the weekly roundup, pop over to coinclarity.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter, which will include a copy of this video. Like and comment below if you like this video and want to comment, and make sure to hit that subscribe button, which should be somewhere about there, to subscribe to our channel and get the latest news, reviews, and updates on the world of crypto. I've been Derek Anderson. Stay classy, people. The SEC is becoming notorious among Christo and Christo? The SEC is also interesting from a technical perspective is the fact that Bitcoin's percentage of dominance over the total, perhaps helping it spike while everything else has been going down, down, down. Down, down, down to the burning ring of fire. And when burn, 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 and the waves burn higher. That's not the actual song.